For 20 years, 5 places on Earth were sold as the secret to living to 100. In 2024, a demographer won an Ig Nobel Prize for finding that the real secret, in many of those cases, was never registering the death. This is a live, hostile, and unresolved conflict between two factions of serious, well-intentioned scientists. It is a fight between the global desire for an actionable lifestyle cure built on diet, community, and movement, and the messy, often impossible reality of validating data from a century ago. The blue zones phenomenon has become the ultimate test case for how much commercial weight a single demographic finding can bear before the underlying data buckles. In 1999, researchers Johnny Pess and Mikkel Pullen began a cautious investigation into a cluster of men living extraordinarily long lives in the mountains of Sardinia. Their original methodology was painstaking. They traveled village by village, cross-checking physical church records and marking verified cases on a paper map with a blue pen. But then, Dan Buettner and National Geographic scaled this narrow demographic finding into a massive commercial empire. They expanded the search to 5 global regions and translated those records into a lifestyle brand sold to a global audience. This expansion relied on a verification process that is much harder than it looks. Proving your age today is easy, but proving someone was born exactly 100 years ago in a rural 1920s village is nearly impossible. Look at the blank fields on this 1937 certificate of birth. In the early 20th century, formal records were rare across much of the world. Researchers instead relied on a patchwork of census guesses, transcription errors, and families reusing the names of deceased infants for their younger siblings. Pess and Pullen worked with the documents they had, but population-level claims were built on an evidentiary foundation that was inherently prone to error. In 2019, demographer Saul Newman began a 5-year audit across 5 countries to test the limits of these extreme age records. In the United States, as states introduced formal birth certificates, recorded supercentenarians plummeted by 69 to 82%. Furthermore, their birthdays suspiciously cluster on the first of the month, or dates divisible by 5. Statistically, these aren't records, they're guesses. There is also a mundane financial incentive at play. In many systems, pension and survivor benefits continue automatically as long as a person's death is never formally registered with the government. Newman concludes that reaching 100 correlates far more strongly with regional poverty and missing paperwork than it does with any specific diet or lifestyle factor. In other words, the regions celebrated for longevity might just be the regions with the most broken bureaucratic systems. This isn't theoretical. Until 2010, Sogen Kato was celebrated as one of Tokyo's oldest living men. When auditors finally entered his home, they found a mummified body. Kato was dead for 32 years, while his family continued to collect his pension. A subsequent audit in Japan found 230,000 other centenarians who could not be accounted for as living people. Real supercentenarians do exist. When they are properly verified, they show measurable biological advantages, including variants in the FOXO3 gene involved in cellular stress resistance. The gold standard for this kind of age verification is Jean Calment, who died in 1997 at the age of 122. Calment's age is bulletproof because it was cross-checked against independent French civil and notarial documents that spanned her entire lifetime. Individually verified centenarians are scientifically real, but mapping entire regions onto a simple lifestyle formula stretched the underlying historical records to their breaking point. A blue pen on a map in 1999, a mummified body still collecting a pension in 2010, and a fight that still isn't over. The honest answer to how people live past 100 was never going to fit on a book cover. January Science tells the story behind the science, one disease at a time. Subscribe for the next one.